Good afternoon and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. Certainly glad to have you today. And as always, we want to thank BTC Fiber, our sponsor, for sponsoring our program. And as you can see these interviews on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Cable Channel 18. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors, Embers Ice Cream of Pikeville, Nickel Roll Antiques of Pikeville, and White Wagon Bed and Breakfast of Pikeville. And today we have with us Cain Burnett. He's the manager, at least that's one of his titles he wears around here at Wooden's Apple House out here on the mountain. And Cain, first of all, it's good to have you. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Let me ask, let's first go into a little bit of history about the location here and tell us a little bit about the history of the place.
So my grandfather, he was Orrin Wooden. He and his family, they moved up here from Florida right after the Depression. So they actually owned like a orange and grapefruit grove down in that area. They sold it all and moved up here after the Depression. They moved up here. They kind of started out with sawmills, him and his father, and then eventually they tried to grow different types of produce. They tried to grow peaches, but the types of peaches that they tried to grow back in the day, they just weren't suitable for this type of weather and this climate. So then they moved to apples, and then ever since then we've just been growing apples, and we're called the Apple House because used to there was a house here. We've got some pictures kind of hanging up. You can see that they had their house here and they sold apples out of the house that they lived in. That's why we're called the Apple House. And then eventually we built this building once they outgrew it. We built our pie shop. We added on with our cafe, and then we also have our packing house where we pack all the apples and run all those through. But my grandfather, he passed away in 2013, so he's no longer with us. But my grandmother, she still works here in the sales room with us. She and my mother, they usually run the sales room. My aunt, she bakes all the pies and all of the good sweet treats. My cousin Candace, she does the cafe, and then my father and my uncle, they do the packing shed and all of those things. And then me and my sister and a couple other family members, we work around just kind of wherever we're needed. Yep.
Well, that's pretty interesting. With the idea of selling out that house, I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I guess it's taken time over the years when you add a little bit at a time, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's whenever we were actually talking about it the other day, which I wasn't born whenever we built this building, but my cousin Candace was, and she said that she remembers whenever they laid the foundation and the walls started going up, and she looked around and she said, wow, this place is huge, and then now it seems like we're almost about to outgrow this, and we'd like to expand some more in the coming years, but you just kind of do what you can,
step at a time.
Yeah, step at a time.
Well, on average, about roughly how many customers you get per year?
I don't. We had someone give us some analytics earlier in this year. It was for last year's data, and I believe it said somewhere around 70,000 customers just for last season, and last season wasn't a great season for us, really, because we had an early frost, which killed off a lot of the produce. Killed whenever the apples are just in the blooming stage, and that frost came through. If it kills off the blooms, then we won't have any apples. So, but even though we had a bad year last year, we think it gave the trees a year to rest, and we had just an amazing, beautiful crop this year. We were really blessed this year.
And I should point out to folks that today's November 7th, and they close around Thanksgiving. But you mentioned earlier you might look at possibly opening back up after Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so usually our last day is the day before Thanksgiving. That's just kind of how it usually pans out with, whenever we run out of produce to sell. But like I said, we had a great crop this year, so we may open up again. We'll take the day off for Thanksgiving, spend with the family, and then after that we may open back up again. But usually the day before Thanksgiving, we kind of go all out. We have where people can order take and bake meals from the cafe. People come and pick up desserts for their family events on Thanksgiving. We actually have a list of all that stuff. Try to put it on our Facebook and everything. Sometimes we might have a few events. We've had Santa come before.
Yeah.
So we like to
Spice it up.
have some kind of festivities like that for the holiday season.
Well, now you mentioned about the packing house. Do y'all ship apples out, or is that just for here?
Well, most of our apples we do sell here to our customers. The only apples we ship out we'll sell to schools and grocery stores and things like that. There are some people who resell things. They'll come and buy produce to resell. We try to partner with as many programs as we can, especially for there's a really good program that we partner with that provides produce to after school children who may not have the resources to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. So we like to do anything we can like that.
So you're really involved in a lot in the community as well.
Yes, so we try to do as much as we can. If there's an opportunity for us, then we try to get involved as much as we can.
Well, I'm sure the community enjoys that too, appreciates it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now, other than your apples, what are some of the things that y'all do carry here at the store that y'all?
So, like I said, when my grandfather first moved up here, they tried to grow peaches, but those varieties weren't as resistant to the weather. But now there are different strands of varieties of peaches, so we actually do grow peaches now. They usually come in around the middle of July, and that's kind of when we start off with our season. And then August 1st, we start harvesting our apples. We've got between 20 and 25 different varieties of apples. Once we get more into the fall, we have different types of squash. We have butternut squash, acorn squash, spaghetti squash. We try to grow a variety of pumpkins, both for jack-o'-lanterns and decorative pumpkins. We have pumpkins that are good for pies. We also grow some bell pepper. We have sweet potatoes available. We just, and some years we might grow some things that we don't have other years, but we try to have a good variety available for customers.
Well, I noticed too in your store you have things like jellies and sauces and things like that. Where do those come from? Y'all order those?
Yes, sir. We have different companies that we order those from. We have, like you said, jams, jellies. We have all kinds of fruit butters, syrups, honeys. We also try to have some sugar-free options available or no sugar-added options. We have all kinds of novelty candies. We also have our apple cider that's pressed from our apples. Very good, very delicious, both hot and cold. My favorite's the apple cider slushies that we have.
Oh, really? Slushies?
I love the apple cider slushies.
Well, I've not heard of that before.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet the kids like that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, with the pie shop and the cafe, I know that probably brings in. I know when I've been up here before, the cafe line's just almost out the door.
Yes, sir. It's especially during our peak season. September and early October. There's been lines out through the parking lot. There'll be lines through the door through here. Sometimes you can't even hardly move. But it's for a reason. She makes some really good foods in there, and the desserts are out of this world as well.
Well, Ethan and I had lunch here, and we had some dessert here, and we can attest to it being good.
Oh yeah, my favorite dessert is probably the apple cake. I think I like
apple cake.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with anything. I like the apple cake.
Yeah, anything apple is hard to go wrong with.
Yeah.
And it's nutritious.
Absolutely.
Even if it does have all that extra sugar.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. But for diabetics out there, and I'm one of them, so I shouldn't say that.
We do have sugar-free fried pies, and
really?
I think she also has. I think she might have sugar-free slices of pies as well.
Well,
so we try to, cater to, people that, like my grandmother. She's a diabetic. She can't have things like that. So we try to have options available for people.
But now also to run an operation like this, it takes a lot of people. So how many employees do you have? I know you have family, but working. But
I was trying to count the other day, and it's probably somewhere around, I don't know, between 50 to 70 employees maybe. It just kind of depends on what time of the year, and we've got, we have people who work in the sales room with us, we have people working in the pie shop, in the cafe, we've got the people who work in the packing shed, we also have the workers who harvest all of our produce and things like that. And we also have, during the week we have people who, this is their full-time job, but on the weekends, we also try to employ, high schoolers, people who are looking for that first job, So we do employ quite a few people.
Well, I know when I've been out here, it seems like it's just always full of everybody.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's running too. There's no.
Yeah.
I've never seen a slow moment.
Yeah, full speed.
But that's good. That's a good thing.
Yes, sir. That's the way we like it.
Yeah. And how many? I may have asked you this. How many acres is your area covered?
I've been trying to do a count. Now that we're kind of slowing down for the season, we're getting into office work and stuff like that. But I believe it's somewhere around 150 acres. And that's apples and peaches and just everything.
Well, that's a good size farm for what y'all have to do.
Absolutely.
You get a lot of apple trees out there, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's really, and I know I've heard people. I've actually talked to people from McMinnville and some other places that have been out here because they call it that. Well, they call it the apple barn, but they've been out here. So I guess you get a lot of people from out of town, not from the area.
Yes, sir. We get people from all over the country, actually. There's people who, from different counties and things like that. We'll get calls from people, hey, I live 3 hours away, but I love your guys' apples. I'm checking to see if you got this variety in. We have people who, they might have family that lives up here and they'll be from Florida, so they'll come up and, if I'm ever carrying something out someone's car, I'll see their license plate and I'm like, oh, you guys from Florida? And they're like, yeah, we're visiting family. So it's always good to have people from all over. We really appreciate our customers.
Well, and do you have schools that come out here on field trips ever?
Yes, sir. We actually had Ray County brought out 3 buses the other day, and so we kind of try to give them a little tour. We tell them the history of the farm. We take them through the packing shed so they can kind of see the process of, what happens to their food. We just show them, how we wash them off. We grade the apples, between different qualities, and things like that. Sometimes we try to let them taste the varieties of apples because, a lot of people don't know how many varieties of apples there even are. So we try to give them a taste of several different varieties so that way they kind of have an idea of what we offer.
Right, I know my wife and I, we're kind of partial to Golden Delicious because we like those, but then there's many, like you said, there's so many varieties of apples. You never know until you try them. It's hard to try all of them.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I forget the count, but I know it's somewhere between 20 and 25 varieties that we grow. And we have varieties that come in all the way from the beginning of August all the way up until now. We just finished harvesting this past week. On Monday, we picked the last apples, so we've got to run them through the machine, wash them, get them packed into the boxes, and then.
But now you mentioned how you grade the apples. Explain that process.
Yes, so when we harvest the apples, we harvest them in our a big wooden crate. We bring those in, put them on the machine. It lets them out at whatever speed we want to set it to. Some varieties we can go through a little bit quicker. Some varieties we have to go a little bit slower. It runs them through the machine, washes them off, dries them, and then we grade them. So we have first grade, second grades, and then you can either call it a coal or a third grade. First grade apples are no bruising. I would say no bruising. We try and get any bruising out that we can. Nothing rotten. Pretty much no impurities on the first grade apples. That's what people like to eat. That's what we'll sell to schools and grocery stores and things like that. Second grade varieties are things that just might have like a little bruise or a mark. Nothing too bad. A lot of people like to buy those because we sell them at a discount. They buy those for baking their own pies or applesauce. They make their own things like that. And then we also have the culls, which are just anything that's too bad to really salvage enough for like a second grade variety, or anything that has like a rotten spot on it. And sometimes people buy those for their animals, horses, pigs, deer.
Oh, I see.
And then after that, it goes down the line. And we'll size them. These apples right here are actually pretty big. You might have one variety go into like a certain box, and then a second size go down to another box. So we pack in different sizes, especially for schools. They might want a certain size apple, so we'll sell it to those and then package the rest.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me. That's good to know, because I didn't realize how you had a grading system. I just thought, I just went in the box.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime customers want to come by, we always tell them they can stick their head in the packing shed and kind of see how the process goes. We have a window out to the side of it, so they can kind of look in and see what's going on. We always want to make sure that customers know what's happening with their food. We want to be transparent, show them the whole process, because a lot of people don't know kind of what goes on with produce or with any of the food that we buy in stores.
And you mentioned Facebook. Do y'all have other social media sites that people can go to?
Right now we're just operating on Facebook, but we also have a website. It's woodensapplehouse.com. So we always try to keep it up to date, and our Facebook up to date. We try to post the varieties that we're harvesting for the week. We always try and post our specials in the cafe, different things like that.
Oh, okay. So people can contact you through that, or the phone number here?
Yes, sir. Yes, and we actually also have Instagram as well.
Oh, okay. So one way or another, they can get in touch with you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we try to look at our Facebook messages every evening, but the easiest way is just to call us at our number here, and we're more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Okay, and if people wanted to, so they live an hour away, and they said, "Hey, I'm coming for this. Do you have it? Can you hold it for them, or do you do that?"
Yes, sir, we do. As long as they're coming within 24 hours, we're more than happy to hold anything for anybody, because we know that people have, to travel distances sometimes. We know that there's varieties that aren't common, especially like in grocery stores or at other fruit stands. So if we've got something that somebody wants and we know that they'll be coming, we're more than happy to put their name on it if they'll be coming within a day.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. Was there anything else you want to add that we haven't gone over that maybe people need to know?
I think we've gone over just about everything. We do have our festival every year, our Wooden Family Harvest Festival. Usually it's sometime in early October, so be looking for that. We'll try to post it again next year whenever we're going to have it. So
that'd be great.
That's one of our big events. Everybody seems to really like it. So
good. Well, listen, Cain, I do appreciate you being with us today, and certainly appreciate your time and your hard work here, and all the employees here. I know they do a good job for you.
Yes, sir, absolutely. We really appreciate all of our employees and all our customers. And, we just love the atmosphere out here. And, I've grown up here all my life on the farm, so it's just, I just wouldn't rather be anywhere else. So.
Yeah. Well, great. And I'm certainly glad to be with you. Certainly glad we could do this with you.
Yes, sir. We really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And again, folks, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page, as well as BTC Fiber's cable channel 18. And again, we want to say thank you to our advertisers, that being Ember's Ice Cream of Pikeville, Nickel Roll Antique of Pikeville, and White Wagon Bed and Breakfast of Pikeville. So until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.